The Trojan War. In Greek mythology, the Trojan War essentially begins with a botched beauty contests. All the Greek gods were attending a wedding except for Ares, who hadn't been invited. But she showed up, and when she was turned away, she threw into the crowd of goddesses a golden apple that was addressed to the fairest. Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena all wanted the apple, but when they asked Zeus to mediate, he instead delegated the task to Paris of Troy and told the messenger god Hermes to take the goddesses to him. Hera promised Paris untold wealth and power. Athena promised him untold knowledge, and Aphrodite promised marriage to the most beautiful mortal woman, Helen of Sparta. That last bride sealed it, and Paris chose Aphrodite as the recipient of the golden apple. But during this time, the Trojans defended themselves while the Achaeans sacked the neighboring cities. Among these cities were Thebes, where Agamemnon captured a woman named Chryseis, and Lyrnessus, where Achilles captured a woman named Briseis. Agamemnon wanted to keep Chryseis as a prize, but her father, a priest of Apollo, offered. After Agamemnon denied his requests, her father prayed to Apollo, who swiftly sent a plague that disseminated the Achaeans' army. Agamemnon then begrudgingly gave up Chryseis, though he decided that if he couldn't find a replacement, he would simply take another woman as his unwilling prize instead. Greatly irritated by Agamemnon's threat, Achilles accused Agamemnon by being shameless. Agamemnon responded in turn by taking Briseis to teach him a lesson in authority and power. This act infuriated Achilles so much that he decided to withdraw himself and his troops entirely from battle.
Give me cause and I'll give you war. Can you?
Despite this, Achilles was worried that the Achaeans might actually lose against the Trojans. So, when his friend Patroclus asked if he could borrow his armor, Achilles agreed. Enraged at the news of his friend's death, Achilles decided to rejoin the war effort. He immediately soothed Hector out of vengeance. Upon meeting Achilles, Hector tried to get him to agree that no matter who won, they would not desecrate the defeated man's body, for this is what his mother warned would occur. But Achilles' range had given him tunnel vision, and he had no regard for fairness. He promptly slayed Hector and then tied his body to the chariot and pulled it back to the Achaeans' camp. The Trojans then called upon their allies for support now, and their best fighter was dead, but they were no match for Achilles, so the god decided that enough was enough. At Aphrodite's behest, Apollo guided an arrow shot by Paris directly into Achilles' heel, the only vulnerable part of his body. Aphrodite hid a special place for Paris in her heart, and having given him the most beautiful woman in the world, she now gave him the gift of killing the greatest Greek warrior. But Aphrodite decided that also she no longer owed anything to him. So when he went to Helen that night, Aphrodite's spell over her had come to an end, and she no longer felt any desire for him. In the final phase of the war, Odysseus came up with a famous plan of the Trojan horse. The Achaeans made it seem as thought they were living and sailing off as they left a giant wooden horse behind. But in fact, they had themselves within the horse and waited for the curious Trojans to bring it into the city wall. They made sure that the warrior Sinon also stayed behind to tell the Trojans that the Achaeans had decided to give up and leave the Trojans a present. That night, when they celebrated their victory and Achaeans climbed out of the horse and the city, the Achaeans were cruel in their victory as they pillaged the city and committed sacrilegious acts. In response to the Achaeans' horrendous behavior, the gods sent down storms as punishment to destroy their ships. So that was the summary of the Trojan War. Thank you.